is currently rated number 3 in the world, and one of the most vicious competitors to ever, pick up a surfboard. 3-time world champion, multi-pipeline champion. I mean, Tahiti.
Triple Crown champ. He's won just about every event out there that there is to win.
Just a true stallion. He's got the heart of a lion. And I know he's been waiting, a few days here to get some business, going here in this event. And we'll have to wait and see. But, he's up against Yuri Sodre from Brazil, which is an interesting draw for Andy. I think Yuri's had a kind of a shocking year.
He's had a horrible year.
And really at this point...
Not a reflection on Yuri, though, because he's a really solid surfer. He's had some great... he's one of the only 3 guys to score a perfect 10 in Mexico, for example, but, really unlucky. Got a perfect 10 in his round 1 heat and still couldn't make it through to round 3.
Well, yeah, Yuri's a really nice, humble guy, and I think... I think this is a really interesting heat for him. I don't think he's got much to lose, really, and Andy Irons is definitely in the title race, so we'll have to wait and see how this heat pans out, but looks like there could be some sets hitting the lineup, Dave.
All right, yeah, the swell is starting to fill in, and it was supposed to pick up throughout the day today, and, well, Yuri Sodre getting it going from the start. Nice backside floater there, and a second one. Can he make it around that section? No, unfortunately for Yuri. That'll be it to start it off, but he's got to be feeling kind of happy to get the first wave out of the way. Not going to be a huge score for him, just 2 little backhand floaters there, but kind of get the jitters out.
Yeah, nonetheless, he will be on the board. And as the tide swings out here in the later part of the tidal change, it's going to be interesting to see how the conditions change here. Every single heat, it's something different happens.
Well, we saw yesterday morning we put Victor Ribas and Darren O'Rafferty out there. They sat on the inside section in the flat for about 10-15 minutes while it kind of did the flow rider thing out on the peak. And then they put him back out there. Those guys got a couple waves from out the back. Victor Ribas moved himself into 3rd position on the tube time list for the Nixon Tube Time Award. And it really turned on at about this time in the tide for the Nathan Hedge Chris Ward heat, and then just went absolutely Richter for Parco and Housey.
Yeah, that heat with Nathan Hedge and Chris Ward was a really pivotal heat in this year's ratings. I mean, obviously Nathan Hedge hasn't had a great year.
Hedge really needed to get a win there. And so Kelly Slater not completely on yet, an 8-0 and a 5.33 in that last one. As we go over to GT, let's hear what you have to say.
All right, Kelly, we were talking yesterday. You're never really stoked to be the icebreaker, especially with the tides and stuff here. So let's talk first about the conditions out there.
Just tough. I knew basically what to expect. The rip was going to run through it, and I only watched about 5 minutes before I paddled out, and I didn't get down here this morning. I knew it was going to be kind of flat, not breaking, and I saw the guys all needing to kind of hold onto the ski just to get into the waves, and I knew it was going to be a little bit tough, and all I was hearing from people was really inconsistent with the set, so it's going to be a little bit of patience, and then you're going to hope you're in the right spot. So I was catching a lot of waves trying to stay inside.
Yeah, it seemed like, you really didn't hit your stride. It kind of just seemed like you were more kind of feeling it out than anything out there.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've hit my stride in a couple of events, but he had the best waves in that heat. He fell in the best wave in the heat. He could have got me there. Lucky for me, he didn't make that one barrel, but I had one too. I got a nice little barrel and I didn't sneak out. It started to open up. I got into the opening and then I just kind of dug the nose and fell off too. So if I hadn't pulled in straight away, it might have been a good one for me. But it's tough because it's really sucking off the bank. There's like little ledges in the sandbar and the waves kind of got little double ups in the face. So it's kind of tough.
Well, one more step closer to the ultimate goal, eh?
We're getting there. We'll see. Got to win a few more heats.
Well, congratulations, Kelly. We'll let you go get mobbed over here, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure. All right, so Kelly just kind of feeling it out this morning and did what he had to do to make it through that heat against the ever-dangerous wild card, Jode Colasso. So we'll try and see if we can catch up with Jode as well. But for the meanwhile, in the water right now, Andy Irons, Yuri Sodre, and in the stands, Dave Mailman and Dino Andino.
Well, listen to Von Zipper and listen to GT. Thank you very much, GT, for that interview with Kelly Slater. And Dino, apparently we're going to go over Well, we were going to go to a replay of Yuri's last wave, but instead we have our 3-time world champ Andy Irons live and direct. How's that layback?
A nice little old school layback for Andy Irons as he pumps down the line here on this what looks like a really good wave for Andy Irons. Prior to that wave, it looked like Yuri Sodre from Brazil getting a pretty decent score and coming through. It still hasn't came through yet, but it looks like it's going to be above average score. And Andy Irons grabbed that wave, and that layback was pretty sick.
Well, here's the replay of Yuri's first wave. A little bit dark on our screen. Hope it's not dark on your screens at home, but just going vertical on that first turn and the second. Dino, good for a 6.0 this wave from Yuri Sodre.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's doing a nice consecutive off the bottom, off the top combinations here, and really the kid made the most out of this wave. He really put together some nice turns as he whips that snap on the open face, throwing tons of spray. Man, he really looked comfortable on this wave.
He was solid all the way through, but I guess he was just lacking that money turn. Every single turn is really crisp. He's got his speed up. He's got some power. He's throwing good spray, but nothing that just takes your breath away, which is probably why the judges awarded him with a 6-point ride.
Well, it looks like Andy Irons' score comes through at a 4.50, and that's an interesting score. It looked like that first section never really got in the barrel, Dave, on that first section, but nonetheless a nice snap off the top and a floater there to finish that wave.
And here he comes again, Dino.
It looks like he's going to start to get his rhythm going here as he comes off the bottom, and a nice snap off the top for the former world number 1 and current world number 3, Andy Irons. Little bobble there, and another little snap, and another little snap, and a little finished floater there for Andy Irons. We'll have to wait and see what the judges reward that wave, but looks like he's getting his bearings going and getting some rhythm in this heat.
Well, kind of similar to Kelly Slater's start in his heat against Ode Koyatho. I mean, it's pretty interesting to hear, too, that Kelly actually admitting that, he can be gotten as early as round 3. If Hode had pulled that barrel, Kelly basically said he probably would have won that heat.
Well, it looks like Yuri Sodre out the back, and a nice big floater airdrop. Yeah. Going over the handlebars was the young Brazilian.
Too bad for Yuri on that one.
Looked like a missed opportunity for him. That wave looked like it peeled down the point here at Mundaka. And Andy Irons
still going.
Andy Irons being rewarded a 5.33 for that wave.
So very similar to Kelly's start. Just two kind of average wave scores, kind of trying to find the groove, and it looks like he snapped or buckled his board on that last floater reentry attempt from Yuri Sodre, calling for a caddy. So he's going to leave Andy out in the lineup by himself with 21 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. And Dino, let's take a look at Andy's first wave, that 4.5.
Well, as he takes off on this one, kind of pumps down the line. Looked like he was going to try to pull in that first section, but opted to pump down the line to assure his entry into this next section here. As he's laying back, 6 style.
That's unreal.
All the Matt Archibald there, one of Andy Irons' idols from in the past when he was a grommet. As he pumps down line, you can see he moves he kind of looks out the back and moves up on his board, and nice little floater airdrop as he rockets off the top there, pumping down line, keeping his forward momentum going. As you can see, the camera guy in the lineup in the water there, and here's a nice little floater. Not really able to get through the lip on that.
No, it was completely different. You saw on Kelly's wave that last kind of rock floater reentry where he managed to really get up on the lip, get the board completely vertical, and on that one Andy could just manage to kind of throw it up into the lip, but didn't have the same projection as Kelly did on that one. And coming up right now, the replay of Andy's last one, a 5.33. So let's see what got him an extra.
Well, it's interesting that Andy went on this wave. It was kind of a mid-range wave, but he knew if he got his rhythm going, nice big snap off the top, and another big snap vertical off the top for Andy Irons, and almost bobbling there a little bit, but nonetheless keeping the rhythm going on this wave. Nice little open face snap as he ricochets off that last section there, and I think that wave was a very smart choice to go on. You know, I mean, that was better than his first wave. Now he's got a 5.33 and a 4.50. Now he could kind of wait for the more of a quality wave, Dave, as we, you know, there is 19 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, so he can be more patient and try to nail a bigger score down.
Well, especially with Yuri Sodre currently out of the lineup after breaking his board, and going to take a look at that move right now, Dino.
Well, as you can see, that's a great shot of Andy trying to stay in the lineup as the current's just rushing out of the river mouth here at Mundaka, and the tide is still going out, and it's amazing that the tide can go out this far.
And once again, just a reminder, there are 15-foot tidal changes. That's about 4.5 meters between the high tide and the low tide here in Mundaka. So, you know, where you'd paddle out at high tide, guys can actually walk out to the peak on the low tide. 19 minutes remaining in this one. 1.5 for that last wave of Yuri Sodre where he busted his board. Looks like he's got a replacement board. He's making his way back out to the lineup to join Andy right now. And here's the replay of that one, Dino.
Yeah, as you can see here, he jumps up on the lip right there. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see how hollow that section is. Landing kind of flat. You know, he didn't really land in the transition. He kind of landed flat. And to all you viewers online, you know, when you jump off a lip like that and land flat, it's very hard to keep your momentum going. And as you can see there, he lost it and looked like he buckled his board and had to come in and change his board.
At first, we kind of like, oh, and then you traveled.
All right, we have Ode down with GT.
There we go. Sorry.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it away, GT, with Ode.
Sitting here with Jode Colasso, the Basque Country local wild card. Jode, you got to be stoked. You got to go up against the world champ and almost played a spoiler there.
Yeah, I really enjoy the heat, and you know, I'm really happy to surf against Kelly, you know. And the waves aren't really good, you know. But I think I get the best wave in the heat, that barrel, but I couldn't make it.
Well, that's funny because Kelly did mention, he's like, you know, Jode got the best wave in that heat. And when we were watching it kind of live, we're like, oh, he's too deep, he's too deep. And then you almost came through that.
Yeah, I know I was too deep because the current just pushed me to the outside. But I say, that's the wave, I need to make it and just get a wave. I was trying to, please. At the end, I was like, yes. And just at the end, the leaf just hit my
head.
Me and just...
Su cabeza? ¿Es cabeza?
Mi cabeza, mi cuerpo, everything. I tried to take my board like this and try to make it, but I couldn't do it.
Well, now, the one thing beyond, you know, if you're competing at the highest level, and it's a great experience for you as you're, you know, embarking on your career, you know, but you have to be stoked on all the fans. As soon as you hit the water and the current, could you hear them all whistling and every time you got a wave?
Yeah, I heard everyone was like supporting me, all my family, friends, and that I think give me like another level, I think, for surfing.
Well, congratulations. We're going to look to see you join the big tour here in a year or so. So come on, bro, get out there and be somebody.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers, Ode. All right, back to you, Mailman and Dino.
Well, thanks for that, GT.
Good one, GT. Congratulations to Ode Koyatho for a great performance against our 7-time world champ, Kelly Slater. Even Kelly admitting that if Ode had just pulled that one, too, he probably would have nipped him in the bud. And back to our 3-time world champ, Dino. Oh, sorry, just as he fell down on that one. Let's cut back over to Dino as Andy wipes out.
Yeah, Andy Irons just, you know, getting his rhythm going. Nice big floater on that last one before he, you know, falling off on that last maneuver. I think the boys are just trying to keep in the lineup, you know, stay in that zone there. If they sit there too long, then they're going to be sucked out to sea and be outside the lineup.
Now the outgoing tide still in effect, although we're getting to kind of the bottom of the tide now. I believe yesterday it was low tide at about 12:45, which would be right now. So we're probably about a half an hour off or 45 minutes off the full low tide.
It actually.
Well, and out in the water currently, once again, Andy Irons, a 3.33 on that last one, and didn't take advantage of those minutes that he had out in the water by himself while Yuri had a broken board. And Dino, I think Mundaka is one of Andy Irons' favorite places on tour.
Yeah, I think the boys are going to queue up a little interview with Andy. And, Andy Irons is definitely a vicious competitor, and I know he surfed some really good waves here a couple weeks ago.
Well, let's see what our three-time world champ thinks about Mundaka's home away from home.
Being back in Mundaka is awesome. It's a beautiful place. The Basques are really nice to us. They let us come in and surf their wave, and they pretty much take us into their town, and they're really cool to us. So it's nice to be back here, and I'm excited. Hopefully we get some good waves.
Well, as we are back in action here in heat number 9 and round number 3, currently Andy Irons is in the first position with yellow needing only a 3.83 with 14 minutes remaining. Yuri Sodre in yellow with priority, and you got to think with the tide rushing out, waves are going to be few and far between here in the next half hour until the tide turns, Dave.
So they're going to want to be patient and play the waiting game. You don't want to take off on just anything. Although sometimes, as we saw Kelly doing, he'd actually take off on one and kind of use it to replace himself a little bit further inside and out of the main takeoff spot where the current is the strongest. But yeah, look at that, just the two of them just having a casual paddle to stay in place. Gary Elkerton at the bottom of your screen with the Water Patrol on the inside. Once again, 13 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. A 3.0 for Yuri Sodre and a 6.0. Yuri is in second. Andy out front with a 5.33 and a 4.5. Once again, Yuri is needing a 3.83. And some of you guys are sending in a few questions wanting to know how the judging panel works. Well, there are 5 judges that judge at once with the head judge behind them to make sure that they're all watching the same waves and seeing the same things. Then they drop the high and the low of the 5 judges' scores and take the average of the remaining 3. There's 7 judges total that do judge throughout the day, so they can all get breaks. And then the head judge, of course, hanging out and just supervising throughout the day. So that's how the judging system works. Surfers get a maximum of 15 waves per heat. Your top 2 wave scores count, and of course, the surfer with the best 2-wave total moves through to the next round. So hope that explains the judging system for everyone out there that was wondering. There's a little shot of, I don't know if they beached the jet ski on purpose or if they got surprised by the dropping tide.
Yeah, I think where they're at right there, and in a couple hours it'll be 12 feet deep.
Yeah.
So the boys there trying to push the ski into the lineup here to help assist these gentlemen into the lineup after their waves, and the Water Patrol. They've been a great service to the event here as the event winds down into the man-on-man parts of the event.
Of course, when the swell is up, the guys are allowed to use the Water Patrol to get rides back out to the lineup, but today it's barely head high out there, so they really don't need the jet ski assist whatsoever. And it's really interesting. People have been asking a lot, Dino, about if the wave is as good as it was before they dredged the sandbar and before it came back. And actually, in past years, you'd have to say the sandbar is better, because in past years, you couldn't even be surfing out at Mundaka, even on the lowest of low tides when it's only head high. So the wave has gotten way better since the return of the sandbar.
Mark Akalupo, Kelly Slater, Bruce Irons, Andy Irons, all the boys surfed that swell, a couple weeks ago, and they said it was the best they'd ever seen it. And Mark's been coming here for 20 years.
Yeah.
So that was pretty amazing to hear him say that. I know he got some of the best waves he's ever had. Earlier in the week we caught up with Andy, and he had some things to say about that super session. It was amazing.
Let's go to his interview right now. Okay, Andy decided not to take off, so let's hear what Andy Irons, our 3-time world champ, had to say about the super session.
About 2 weeks ago, I got really good waves here. It was the best I've ever surfed it. For the clients, we haven't really got really good Mundaka for what it can, how good it can get. So to see what it was doing the other week was it was amazing. It was just a perfect, pure like laugh.
And back from the interview about the super session into Heat 9 of Round 3 of the Billabong Pro Mundaka.
Well, Dave, time is ticking. with only 10 minutes remaining in this heat. Yuri Sodre only needing a 3.83. That's a pretty minor score, to need at this level of surfing here. And
basically 2 big turns or maybe 3 or 4 flicky ones down the line, and
yeah, and he does have priority.
No problem.
I would imagine he would have at least one opportunity to get that score, in 10 minutes' time. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure Andy Irons will do whatever it takes here as we close this heat here coming up.
Yeah, he's not a 3-time world champ for nothing. There they are, Andy Irons in the red singlet, Yuri Sodre from Brazil in the yellow singlet. Current world number 3, Andy Irons against world number 43, Yuri Sodre. This is heat number 9, round 3, 9th day of the waiting period of this Billabong Pro Mundaka.
Yeah, and in the heat coming up, heat number 10 of round number 3 is Sean Cansdell versus Trent Monroe. And Trent Monroe, another one of those guys on the bubble there, Dave.
Yeah, Trent is. I think he's currently sitting in 30th position. So Trent Monroe definitely needs a result here. It's pretty wild because Trent Monroe is usually in the top 5 or the top 10. Has never been 30th in the world in his life and kind of doesn't know what to do with himself, I think. Coming up against Sean Cansdell. Well, Cansdell's been on fire kind of in the last few events. Almost took Kelly Slater out at Trestles. In a few people's eyes, he should have won that heat. So Cansdell be raging.
Yeah, Sean Cansdell's a very polished young rookie from Australia. He's amazing. He's an amazing talent. He's just fluid and powerful, and just awesome to watch. And I think that he's pretty comfortable on the ratings. I think he's not feeling quite as much pressure as Trent Monroe is right around now.
Now in his rookie season, he's sitting 16th on the ratings, and if it wasn't for Bobby Martinez having a almost picture-perfect rookie year, Sean Cansdell will be in the running for Rookie of the Year. So this is going to be a sick heat, especially with Trent Monroe on his backhand in a shoulder-to-head-high surf. I think Trent's going to go to town out there. And
yeah, he surfed really good, in his last heat. As we see
Yuri Sodre
going down the line, big floater off the top there for Yuri Sodre. Another big floater and another floater as he ricochets down the line. This is going to be interesting. He only needs a 3.83, and that's going to be just on the border.
Yeah, he managed to pack 4 moves in there, but they, really nothing special.
They were all really parallel turns. Unfortunately for him, he didn't really have much opportunity on that wave. I think he made the most of what he had.
Well, here's the replay, so let's have a look at that again, and you can explain what we were just saying.
If you watch him, he stays in the middle of the wave, never really able to come off the bottom, but nonetheless, nice big floater, airdrop there, and the wave never really slowed down and allowed him to go vertical, but that was a really nice floater, and this second one he almost falls, but catches his balance. Nonetheless, great composure through that third turn there as he kind of rocks it off the lip, and this third one almost gets caught again, and we'll have to wait and see what the judges award that, but I think it's going to be right on the border of getting it or not getting it, Dave.
Well, the judges actually were pretty quick with that one. As you were saying those words, the score is being typed into 3.37, so Yuri does better as 3.0, but still needing a 3.83, and have to agree with the judges on that one. It just wasn't quite there. I think
that was my gut feeling. I think that had he of
not stumbled on that second turn, maybe.
Yeah, had he have nailed that second turn, he might have been guaranteed at least over a 4. So that might have been a missed opportunity for the young Brazilian Yuri Sodre. But nonetheless, there is plenty of time remaining. 8 minutes remaining still in this heat.
Actually, 5 minutes 45. It's true. That's from your seat, the 5 turns into an 8 kind of on the screen. But now we are coming down to the 5-minute mark. But that's still plenty of time.
Not a tall order.
That one. No, 3.83, whatever you saw, 3.37 on that one, and all he had to do really was put a little bit more oomph, a little more power and flair into that second turn, and he probably would have had the score he needed. But having said that, against Andy Irons, he's probably going to want to put a little bit more than a 3.83 on the board. What do you reckon, Dino?
Yeah, you got to think that Andy's going to better one of his scores here as we close this heat out. Looks like we have a paddler out the back, Dave.
Here he comes, Yuri Sodre, once again looking for a 3-8-3 and just pulling into that one as the wall just races away from him.
Well, it looks like Yuri Sodre searching the lineup
Desperately.
feverishly, looking for a 3.83 as time is winding down on the young Brazilian.
And they've moved off the peak, actually. Not looking for those barrels anymore. It just looks like Yuri's trying to find himself an open section where he can unleash a few turns. And Andy, of course, holding priority and isn't going to want to let him get a hold of anything. There you can see, was that Toby Martin and Joel Parkinson with Parko's kid just checking out the action. There's Yuri and Andy paddling against the current once again. We're just about a half an hour off of the low tide, but
well, that's a great shot of two competitors. You can see Andy Irons, just a very savvy competitor. You know, he knows exactly what's going on. He took a look at that last wave that Yuri went on, and he let him go on it. And you know, he is not letting up the gas on this one. You know, this is a very pivotal heat for him as we go into the last three events of the year. And you know, as we said earlier, Kelly Slater, Joel Parkinson, and Mick Fanning all, you know, seeing themselves into round number 4. And, you know, Andy Irons is sitting still in round number 3, along with Taj Burrow, which we'll see later in the heat. But, man, Andy Irons is definitely...
well, both of them basically desperately need to get out of this round and make it through to round 4, because otherwise, if anyone in the top 5 loses in this round, their world title campaign is effectively over. And it's just going to get harder and harder for them as we move through round 4 and into the quarters and the semis and the final, obviously. Parko coming up against Andy's little brother, Bruce, in Heat 1 of the round of 4. Mick Fanning and Victor Ribas will be in Heat 2. And Pancho Sullivan and Tom Whitaker in Heat 3 of round 4. And Corey Lopez, Kelly Slater in Heat 4. So Corey Lopez has the first shot at putting a little dent in Kelly's title run. But after that, you know, the boys are going to be hoping that Kelly loses as soon as round 4, if not in the quarters. And if Fanning and Parko, who are actually on a collision course to meet up in quarterfinal number 1, that quarterfinal is effectively going to put one of their world title campaigns on hold, or actually put an end to it, Dino. So,
yeah, you know, I think Mick Fanning, you know, had... He lost to Joel in the quarterfinals of the Bells event, as well as losing to Joel last week in the Quicksilver Pro at in Hossegor. You know, you got to think that if they do meet up, you know, it's going to be game on.
He's going to want some comeback, no doubt.
You know, but nonetheless, they do have each have a round to get through before that happens. So, you know, and Joel Parkinson is going against Bruce Irons, who did get him in Mexico. So I'm sure Joel's wanting to maybe get Bruce back, but. You know, they're really good friends, and I know that when they put those jerseys on, you know, the friendship's put aside and they want to win. Well, it looks like Yuri Sodre on what looks like a pretty good wave, Dave.
Yeah.
Not much time left, and you know, that was a patient wave, man.
If he can get one more turn in here, I think he's bettered his 3.37 and just doing it. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, Dino, and
well, it looks like there could be an opportunity for Andy Irons out the back.
Yeah, looks like a 3 to 4 wave set rolling in. So
I think once again that wave Yuri had is going to be on the borderline of the score.
Well, here's Andy.
Well, here comes Andy Irons out the back, Dave.
First setup snap there, kind of for Andy. Great boat angle. Ooh, almost dug a rail on that one. Manages to get through that section. Andy's looking to replace a 4.5 to extend his lead, and. You know what? That's a really weird heat, Dino, and the judges are going to be scratching their heads on that one. The 4.6 for Yuri, that puts him into the lead, leaving Andy needing a 5.28.
Well, it looks like Yuri Sodre at the back, Dave, on another one, and it looks like this one could run down the beach as he's the young Brazilian, a nice floater, and another like blast off the closeout section. You know, Andy Irons' wave was pretty good. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what the judges reward that, but it looked like he might have bettered a score on that one.
Well, 20 seconds remaining now. The judges are taking their time with Andy's score. I'd really like to see a replay on that one, because from the side angle it was kind of hard to tell. But I'm not quite sure that Well, there we go. Thank you very much, judges, for putting me back in my place. That's why they're up in the tower and we're down here in the commentary booth. That last wave of Andy Irons is 6 points.